Oh, I forgot to tell you about my new orthopedic shoes. I didn't think they'd work, but
they stand corrected.
Oh.
You can't dad joke me, sir.
Enter to begin.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to CPOD. I am your host, Elliot. And today, really, to meet my co-host, I think I'm going to have to go back to the future and step into the DeLorean. Hello, Doreen.
God's sake. Hi.
They're not as smooth as yours. And these take like 3 days for me to think of, so, you know.
I've run out of L jokes, to be fair, so I need to write them down as I think of them throughout the week and then pick one anytime that I'm hosting.
I like it. Well, I thought about that listening back to one of our podcasts and it and I thought I'm just, it's not clever, it's not smart, but I'm going to do it.
I'm going to ask a quick question. How long have you had that one in the bag?
Probably about 2 weeks. I'm already trying to think about the next one. I'm struggling. So, how are you? How have you been? What have you been playing?
I am good. I've been a bit knocked for two today because I have a 3-year-old. Most of you probably already know. And today I put up his first proper bed. So he's not in a cot bed anymore because despite being 3, he's really tall. So we've got rid of his old cot bed. That's now taken apart, and he's in a proper single bed now. And the first thing he did when he jumped in was he went, "Whoa, so much space!" So he's growing up very, very fast. So fast, in fact, that he now wants to play my games with me. Anytime I'm sat down on something, he goes, "Can I have a turn?" And I'll go, "I'm not sure this game's for you." But he likes watching me play the dinosaurs. So, based on that, I've recently picked up Jurassic World. I can't remember what it's called. It's the world builder game, the park builder game for the PS5. The third one came out, but I've got the first
Evolution.
and the second one. So I've been playing a little Evolution. Thank you, that's the one. Yeah, Jurassic World Evolution 2. Because I've built a park already and it's been there for ages, but Noah likes to go around in first-person view and visit all the dinosaurs.
Oh,
so
cool.
we'll wait for the T-Rex to roar and then we'll go visit the Parasaurolophus and all kinds of stuff. I've been playing a little bit more of Death Stranding 2 because I'm aware that I'm getting towards the end. So I'm like, okay, let's get this ball rolling because I know that there's a 3-hour Kojima-esque cutscene coming up. I'm like, I need to prep myself for this. And then, because we've been talking a lot about cozy games and having something handheld that you can pick up and just play, I got Everybody's Golf on the PSP, and it is surprisingly addictive. So anytime I've had sort of 5 and 10 minutes, I've picked up my PSP and I've been playing Everybody's Golf. So that's been addictive, actually.
I think they were going to do I can't remember. I saw it on. It might even been Xbox Direct a while ago. Well, not Xbox Direct, Xbox Showcase, whatever it was. Because I want to think that's actually coming over to the Switch, but I could be wrong.
There's quite a few Everybody's Golf games across multiple platforms. It would not surprise me if it did come to Switch, to be fair, because I think there was obviously a PSP version. There's one for the PS1, the PS4, the PS Vita, but I swear it's not just a PlayStation IP. I think it is across other platforms as well. So if it came to Switch, great, because it's a very simple little game. And I know nothing about golf, but it is surprisingly fun.
I tell you what, though, I'm just going to go back to the first thing you told us about. Obviously, your 3-year-old and his new bed, bless him. The statement he said, could you just repeat that, please, but in the voice of Duke Nukem? Because that's how my brain heard it.
In the voice of Duke Nukem?
Yes.
Oh, God. Wow, that's a lot of space.
That's how I
don't
heard
know how
it.
good that was. Yeah. You can give me a rating from 1 to 10 in the comments.
Yeah. I would personally give that a strong 8.
An 8? An 8's good. I like an 8, thank you. How have you been playing?
Well, I completed, I can't remember if I said this, I completed Donkey Kong Bonanza. on Switch 2. Can't
Oh,
remember
cool.
if that was
Very
before
nice.
last weekend. I think we might have discussed that last week. I can't quite remember. I completed The Golden Compass on DS. Wow, that's a hard game. It's kind of a hard game in the way that it is unbelievably broken, but I think we might have spoken about that as well. I then completed Red Steel on Wii. Up until the 2 last missions, I was loving that game. It was fantastic. The last 2 missions, I still have a sore part on my wrist where I slammed the Wiimote down in an absolute rage and it just bounced back and smacked me on the wrist. Honestly, I nearly snapped the Wii in half. I could have frisbeed it out on the road, kicked it, drove over it. It was just, oh my God. Glad I completed it. I'm not that eager to buy Red Steel 2 based on the last few missions. It literally got to the point where it wasn't fun anymore. So anyway, I'm also playing, it's Pokemon Diamond on the Switch. And what was very, very cool is Nintendo have got a new system where if you create a Nintendo family and add a family member, if they've got a game that you don't own, you can lend them that game. So you put the 2 Switches side by side, because it's a sort of a local thing, it won't work over the internet. Local thing, you put them side by side and you can lend me the game for like 14 days. So I've been playing that. That was great. And then I had a big decision to make, and I'm going to dip into, if you're ready to, our first topic, because this is very relevant.
Okay, yeah, 100%. Go for it.
Perfect. So the first topic of this week, then, we're going to discuss modern retro, which kind of doesn't make sense, but hear me out. So we're going to the, myself and my wife Lauren, we're going to the Leeds gaming market the 8th of February. We're really looking forward to it. And I'm looking at, oh God, you know what? I want a SNES, I want an N64, I want a GameCube because I've got a shelf for one but not working parts. And then I start looking at the games, something which you touched on last week. And oh my God, it's like, right, if I go down this rabbit hole, I'm spending a lot of money. And I've done a big part to get rid of any sort of monthly rolling stuff, you know, so I'm basically subscribing myself to like an optional rolling, you know, it is a lot of money. Once I get into something, I'll start spending a lot. And I'm like, this isn't very cost effective. And as I've praised before, I really like the Nintendo Switch Online sort of emulation that they do. I think it's really good. We've spoken about the CRT filters. It's such a great experience from start to finish. I was like, okay, well, what about, you know, those old consoles? If I don't have an internet connection, I can still play games. And it's like, well, yeah, but I work from home largely. So actually, if I didn't have the internet, I've got bigger problems anyway. In regards to playing those retro games that are emulated away from home, as long as you have an internet signal for it to basically just check that your account is valid, you can then disconnect the internet. So I could, you know, hotspot from my phone, it verifies I've got the membership and I can play the game. So I'm like, right. And then I look on Nintendo Switch Online, and if you're a member, they've basically created like modern retro controllers. So for example, it's the N64 controller, but it's wireless, which is awesome. And they've added loads of different buttons. So there's the ZL button on the top. So you can actually, that's how you can access your kind of save state, you know, quit menu, change game selection, a home button, all this sort of stuff. And also got the GameCube one. And I thought, if I invest in those controllers, I've got such a big library already of games that I actually want to play on Nintendo Switch Online, which means I then get even more value out of my Switch 2. It just made more sense to me. And yeah, there's a lack of the collecting, there's a lack of the physical console, and there's that side that I do love, but it's at a point where like I've kind of got to pick a lane, because whilst I could afford it, it's not the best use of my money. And actually this kind of uses what I've got. I can still enjoy it. We're not really huge collectors. We buy games that we like, but we live in quite a small place, so we've got limited sort of area to highlight things and show things. So that's what we went for. So the modern retro for me is brilliant, because I'm now able to play these retro games with modern convenience. I don't need a CRT, but I've got the CRT filter that works great. So I love it. So what's your opinion, and have you got anything that's kind of similar? I know you spoke about, for example, your PS1 Classic and things. What's your kind of take on the modern retro?
I agree with it, but not necessarily because I want to. So it is a great way to be able to play older games on modern hardware without having to buy all the extra knickknacks. Like, if I now wanted to play a physical N64, that means that not only would I have to buy the N64 itself, the controllers, the little memory pack, and the games themselves. Now, the console itself, you'd expect a retro console nowadays to rack up about 80 to 100 quid. Fair enough. But then it's the games. And not only does it take a lot of space, N64 games used to come in paper as well, so they're all going to be torn and they're not going to look particularly nice on the shelf. And all of the particularly popular games are expensive. The rarer games are expensive. And as you say, it does eat through your finances. It's great to be able to have an option to be able to play them in a different format. It does take away from it a little bit, but as you say, the bonus of the Switch is the CRT filters on it look great. You can get the controllers on it, first party as well, so it feels like it used to. It's great that Nintendo are doing that, in that they're celebrating their history by saying, oh, do you remember our old controllers? We're bringing them back. Do you remember our old games? We're bringing them back. And I think that there's other services like PlayStation and Xbox especially that need to take something away from that, because Nintendo have always been about celebrating their history, whereas other game companies and other game distributors are always trying to come up with the new best thing. But Nintendo have always been, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've always been focused more on innovating their hardware because their IPs are already fantastic. They know what works, and they're giving you those IPs back in a way that you remember them in the modern format. And it's not as expensive as having to go out and buy the GameCube, the N64, the SNES, all that again, because they're giving it to you, albeit a bunch of games, but it's not like you're getting 5 or 6, you're getting 20 to 40 games in the console that you've bought for 350 quid. It's a great service, and I'm really jealous of it, because it's only recently that PlayStation have decided to give that to customers, to paying customers, of course. But they're not particularly games that anyone wants to play, because there's one or two, like on PlayStation Plus you can play Resident Evil 2 or Ridge Racer 4, but there's no Gran Turismo on there, there's none of the original Tomb Raiders on there, those got remastered, so that's no big deal. But there's games on there like Star Wars Episode 1. No one asked to play that, it was a horrible game. So it's... yeah, I agree that it's a great way to play old Nintendo games. I just wish that people weren't cashing in so much on nostalgia that it's borderline impossible for anyone to buy these without breaking the bank. Like, I've got a lot of Silent Hill games. In fact, I've got almost all the Silent Hill games, and they've been creeping up in price. My copy of Silent Hill 1 for the PS1, which is a platinum copy, but it's boxed, it's in great condition, and it's got the manual, I think is now 105 quid. So it's twice as much as what it would have been when it was released back in the day. But there's lots of games across all of the platforms, across every platform, that because it's older and it might have been slightly rare or it's become a collectible, it just keeps creeping up in price. And then next thing you know it, you've got a handful of games that you know you want to buy on a list. You go online, you price it up, and you're talking 300, 400, 500 quid. It's so yeah, paying that subscription per year. In some cases, I'd say it's worth it. In Nintendo's case, definitely worth it, because their prices are great. But it's one of the reasons why I don't pay for PlayStation Plus anymore, is because I just don't think that what you get for the amount that you pay is necessarily worth it.
It's a good job I'm married, right? Because I think if I heard you saying nice things about Nintendo, I would probably just propose to you then, I think, given what you just said. But no, obviously I completely agree. I mean, the thing is as well, so the N64 is hidden behind the expansion pass, which is like the premium tier of the service on the Switch 1. I think the Game Boy Advance might be as well. So you get NES, SNES, and Game Boy, so that's Colour, Pocket, and the original. So that comes at the price of, if you were to pay it monthly, I think about £3.20 a month, and that gives you online membership as well, which is lower than any of the others. For the Plus expansion pass and for the year membership, I paid a total of £36 up front for the year. I mean, I've already played more than 36 hours It's really good value for money. But I agree with you. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish we could just go and pick up an N64 for 20, 30 quid because it's an old console. And, the games even if the console was expensive but the games were cheap, I'd be happy with that way around,
Yeah, that's not so bad, because you know that if you're buying that one console for, say, 200 quid, that's that console bought, and then you get your money's worth through the games. But nowadays, if you want to pick up a PlayStation 1 at 40, 50 quid, okay, but how much are the games? Oh, the games tend to range about 80, 90. You go, oh, well, I'm paying 150-ish quid to play 2-3 games, maybe. And then you got to look at it and think, was that worth my money for 2 or 3 games? Probably not, no.
It's funny because that is exactly the basically the sort of the like algorithm that I used. I was going, well, I'm going to spend all this money for 2 games, and if I don't like them, I'm going to end up buying another game so that I can try to justify the price of the console, and just all the justification kind of starts to slip,
Yeah.
But I'm going there. I still might come back and say, equally, we've not discussed this. Hope this is okay. I think we have, but we haven't. I think next week we might have my wife Lauren as a special guest. She's got a couple of topics she'd like to discuss, and I think off the back of the gaming market might be interesting. Some of the things we've seen, things to discuss as well.
I would love that. Yeah, love to hear about your travels of the gaming market. I'm sorry I couldn't join you this time round. Yeah, absolutely. And Lauren's so funny because she's so deadpan as well. She's great. So yeah, it'd be fantastic to have her on.
Yeah, she's great to live with. Anyway,
she doesn't listen to this, right?
She does. Yeah, she does. Yeah. Yep. I'm sleeping in the garage. So I think that then nicely ties us into our second topic. Would you like to take the reins, sir?
Well, going on about being able to buy controllers first party, you've recently picked up a few, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I'm sort of pleased about one of them, not so pleased about the other, and I'll speak a little bit about that a bit later on. So we're going to talk a little bit about our favourite and our least favourite games console controllers, because there are some fantastic ones out there, some ones that I still use and still love the feel of in my hands. Worst controllers, there are some doozies. I do feel like I need to set a rule though. We need to stay away from third-party controllers, which are notoriously bad, regardless of like what brand you buy. Yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind for everyone. Madcatzzz or Logic 3.
Yeah.
We've all had one. So yeah, why don't you kick us off, because you've got quite the collection now. What's your favourite controller?
It's a really tough one. That is a really tough one for me to answer, because oh gosh. Okay, so I think the best controller ever made, hands down, I think we have to say is the Xbox 360 controller. And I think we may be in agreement of that. It just got everything right, didn't it?
It did. I do love that controller. I still have that controller. My only issue is that I only ever play it on my PC. I only ever use it for my PC. It's been a while since I played it on a genuine Xbox, but nowadays, when I'm on the PC, I tend to still use mouse and keyboard a little bit more. I would like another experience where I can play an Xbox 360 using a 360 controller, because it did feel comfortable. It does feel great in the hands. Would I go as far as to say it's my favourite controller? I don't know. I think it ties with something else, but I'm going to go into that a little bit later. But it's a fantastic controller.
I would say it's not my favourite in terms of the one I enjoy using the most, but what I would say is if it had to be the best controller, I would say it's the best, because it just got everything right. It was comfortable. I never really heard a stick drift of them, and people abuse those controllers to to hell and back. Everything was positioned right, the sizing was right, the battery packs, everything for the time when it was released, and the ergonomics were just brilliant. You can't fault it. But that's a bit like saying, sliced bread, it's great. You can't deny it. If you want bread, it's the best way. It's the cheapest, the easiest. You can toast it, it's grand. Is it my favourite? No. Make my own bread. in a bread maker or whatever, or nice sourdough or whatever. That's the best. Much to Lauren's disgust, I would probably say the N64 is one of my favourites, if not the favourite, and it is truly dreadful, but I love it. But I absolutely love it.
Why?
Because multiple games use it in different ways. So, for example, I was playing Dr. Mario 64, and suddenly using the D-pad and you're holding the controller completely differently. You play an Ocarina of Time, and there's a different button set on the actual controller. I was playing Ridge Racer 64. Again, different subset. The positions of your hands when they move on the controller, it's like you're holding a different controller. It packages so many different things in one. And initially, it looks awful. It feels awful. Even Lauren said, like, oh, I was just being nice. I hate that controller. It's horrible. But I really like it. Part of it will be nostalgia, of course, but I just like the... what's the word I'm looking for here? The technology, the skill set they went into, and what they managed to extract in terms of its use case, really, for different games. That's why I like it, because it's just something a bit different. It's that Nintendo thing, isn't it? Nintendo now and again will, bring something out. It's a bit risky. It'll either be great or it flops. And for me, it was great, and I like it. In regards to the worst controllers, that's tough. I think. Okay, I'm gonna cheat this. I'm gonna go 2. So the first one I gave was, I think, what is the best controller, the 360 controller. My favourite controller, the N64 controller. In the same category,
that's fair.
The worst controller in terms of ergonomics, the Duke, the original Xbox controller. Your hands, they just were never big enough. This absolute monstrosity of a device. It was enormous.
Yeah, it was beefy.
But I liked it. But it was, arguably one of the worst. What's my least favourite controller? This is real. Yeah. To quote a recent Traitors, the TV series, to put the cat amongst the pigeons, I would say is the DualSense. I'm not a fan of the DualSense. The DualSense controller.
Oh wow!
It puts pain down my hands. Again, this is not conventionally the worst. This is subjectively, personally, the worst. It doesn't fit my hands properly. It gives me weird cramp in different places. In regards to its sort of, repairability, I think it's fantastic. That whole entire unit and the actual adaptable triggers, that's fantastic. I think that's really cool. But the ergonomics just don't work for me. I don't like the look of it, don't like the feel of it. It falls flat for me. Very easy to mod. Repairability is fantastic. But yeah, maybe it's a bit like headphones, that certain headphones, or earphones should I say, just aren't fit for me. That controller is just not fit for me. And coming from the DualShock 4, which was fantastic, I just think it was very hard to follow. But that's mine. What about yours?
So, my retort is that I think my favourite is the DualSense.
Oh my gosh.
Because, yeah, I'm going to fight you in a minute. So, the DualShock 4... The DualShock 4 was fantastic. You're absolutely right. And it was a step away from the same design for the past 3 generations, which was a good design. So for the PS1, 2, and 3, you had the same DualShock, just with added features. And it worked, okay. But the triggers were convex instead of concave, which was a bit weird, and as well as the analog sticks. So the DualSense kind of fixed that a little bit, and it was very comfortable. But I feel like the DualSense, because I've got very large hands, the DualSense is very comfortable for me to pick up, because the way that my hands curve around that controller and rest just nicely on both the analog sticks and the triggers. The analog sticks curve inwards, the triggers curve inwards. It feels really comfortable, and I love the little haptic feedback, and the located vibration functions on it are just brilliant. Some of the designs are so ugly. They're horribly ugly, especially some of the later neon ones. But I've got a plain white one and I've got a red one. They're gorgeous and I love picking them up. The only thing that I've got against it is that the excuse me, the X button, for some reason, I think I've just been hammering the X button a little bit too hard because it feels like it's come out of place a little bit. Now, maybe I can repair that later down the line, I'm not sure. And I've not tried to repair a DualSense as of yet. I don't know how easy it is. I'll take your word for it, Mr. Grabber soldering iron the wrong end.
It is. Look, it's a very easy controller to take apart.
But I like it. I think it's great. And when I go back to either a DualSense... the DualShock 4, sorry. If I go back to the DualShock 4 or the DualShock 3, they feel tiny in my hands, and it feels a bit flimsy. I'm going, oh, all right, I'll have to get used to this again. I do eventually, but something about the DualSense, when I put my hands around, it just feels like home. So that's my favourite. Is it the best? No. Because I think you are 100% correct in that the best was the Xbox 360 for all the same reasons that I've just listed about the DualSense, in that its curvature fits my hands, the triggers feel fantastic, they're responsive, but they're not flimsy. It was a great controller, and I think it was innovative genius as well for Xbox to put that little breakaway cable on it as well, so that if someone walks past and accidentally trips over the cable, it's not going to yank out of your console, because there's that little magnetic breakaway bit that'll fail first.
That was
genius.
Actually there on
Absolutely
the Duke.
genius.
That was there on the very first Xbox controller,
you're right. I did like the Duke, but you're right, because even my gargantuan hands struggled to get the silly white and black buttons that were at the top. Oh, they were at the bottom at first, and then for the Xbox S controller, they were moved up to the top, and then they streamlined this controller, and it was still awkward to get to. But
I have to pick you up on a slight. Apologies, I've got to pick you up on an ever so slight, or I've got to question something you said in regards to the DualSense.
Oh, okay.
You said the X button. Should that not be the cross button?
Oh, no, don't be one of these. Did you know which button I meant? Did you know which one I meant?
Ah, well, look, Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft are coming after you now for,
Excuse me, that's our button. Thank you very much. Oh, no, I suppose I've got Nintendo on my back as well, which also bothers me. Like, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation have all got an X/cross button, all in completely different places in relation to each other. Just drives me mad.
Yeah, but then it didn't. In Japan, didn't the initial games wasn't circle basically what was cross for us as well, as in the action button.
Yes. So some Japanese games and some older consoles, yes. So the cross and the circle button were swapped in that cross was cancel and circle was accept, and now it's the other way around. And some later games, because it used to be actually triangle. If you played like a PAL PlayStation, triangle was often back instead of circle, but nowadays it's actually circle that's back, and they seem to have swapped that out, and triangle gets very rarely used anymore. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They were swapped at one time, and I think they are still swapped over in Japan. Moving on to my worst, so one of the worst is the N64.
Yeah, I knew it.
Purely because I don't know what to do with it, and the fact that you've got to relearn the way that you hold the controller per game, and the analog stick used to break all the time, and if it was broken, then that was that. It's had it. You either took it apart to fix it and reset it and put it back together, or buy new bits for it, or just buy a new controller altogether. Because I know that those analog sticks, as innovative as they were renowned for breaking and then coming loose, and then it was just unplayable.
Do you know why they were renowned for breaking?
They were the first to do it, weren't they?
I think it was more to do with Mario Party games. So a lot of Mario Party games have you to, spin round as fast as you can. So people were ramming that stick into the palm of the hand and then spinning it round at full force. So I don't know whether it's the controller at fault or necessarily what people were doing with it to try to beat their friends on party games. But yeah, they were.
Yeah, it's not it's not a design flaw in the controller, it's a design flaw in the game. It's like, we weren't meant to use it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear.
But in regards to...
I understand why people like it, but it's just... I don't know. For me personally, it's like you with the DualSense. For me personally, it just doesn't fit my hand, and I can't get on with how to hold it. Yeah.
Have you tried it much? Have you tried different games with it?
Yeah. So I've had a go a couple of times. So I've played a little bit of Mario Kart 64. I think I played a little bit of Perfect Dark and GoldenEye at one point. I've never played any platformers like the Mario or the Zelda or the Banjo-Kazooie games. Never played anything like that. But I have tried it, and it's very difficult to get along with. But there's also, I've got to bear in mind that the games were very different. Like, I'm used to aiming with 2 analog sticks, but using just one, having a button dedicated to aim before you use the analog stick for that purpose is also very off-putting. But I'm aware that that's what came first. So that's a me problem.
You would have
it's
laughed
just
at
something
me
I
earlier.
never got used to. Go on, why?
I was playing Ocarina of Time, which is that's the game that I think I want to complete next. I think that's my sort of primary game now. Because I've got so far in it before, and it's yeah. I'm about to get a set of tattoos, and one of them is going to be a Zelda tattoo, so I feel like I've got to get through Ocarina of Time. That's just an entry point. And so you can play it now with the Pro Controller. So I've got the Pro Controller 2, which I think is gorgeous. That nearly got my personal best controller, because it's just gorgeous, that Pro Controller 2. So when you use that with Ocarina of Time, they've built it in that you can just adjust the camera with the right stick. When you're using the N64 controller, the way you face the way you want the camera to go, basically, and press Z, and it'll go to the back of Link.
Right.
And anyway, I was trying to get all of the chickens back into this coop. And as I did it, my right thumb just went for a stick that didn't exist, and I just sort of rotated it in the air. And I was like, oh, yeah. N64.
Excellent. One's just popped into my head. So I think the worst one. I want you to pull out your phone, and I want you to Google this. So the Master System controller, the Sega Master System, was borderline exactly the same as the NES controller. So it's a very square controller, and you've got your directions on your left and 2 buttons on your right, as well as a start button somewhere. That's the controller. It wasn't a bad controller. What I want you to look up is the Master System arcade controller, and you'll see why I think that is potentially the worst controller ever made. So just to give our listeners an idea of what's going on, that for some odd reason, you would think that an arcade controller would be a stick on your left and 2, 3, 4 buttons on your right. Nope, for some odd reason, the Master System had decided to swap these and put the directions in your right hand, and then 2 buttons on your left. Therefore, completely negating any muscle memory you thought you had, you have to relearn everything backwards for whatever game you've decided to play.
That doesn't bother me, right?
Go on.
That literally doesn't bother me. I think I could relearn that. I'm right-handed, so that wouldn't bother me. The thing that gets me is the fact that the joystick is a bloody T.
Yeah, it's oddly shaped, isn't it? I wouldn't know how to hold it. Do you hold it from the top or do you hold it from the side? I've never tried one. I don't think I'd ever want to. I feel like I'd throw up before I touched it.
When you're playing Sonic at 9, but you're landing a plane at 1. That's what that looks like. Yeah, just not for me. That is dreadful.
No, exactly. I think that's the worst one I've ever seen. I do have an honourable shout out. I need to Google what this thing is called. I think it's a Magnavox Odyssey or something like that. I could be wrong. There was a console from the 80s that had everything built into it, but its cartridges were triangular based because the console was triangular based. And let me see if I can just Google this thing.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh, here it is. The Coleco Telstar Arcade, which was a first-generation home video game console released in 1977. So it is a pyramid-esque console and controller. The cartridges were triangular. They went in the top. And just to give you an idea of what this thing looks like, it's that sort of 70s brown. On one side of this pyramid, this triangular pyramid, you've got 2 dials. On the other side of this pyramid, you've got a little gear shift and a steering wheel. And then on the third and final side, there is a gun. And that's the entire thing. 3 controllers on one triangular pyramid-based console with triangular cartridges that went in the top. It's hideous.
I'm going to really upset you.
It makes me want one.
Yes, exactly. It's so bad, it looks great.
Yeah, that's it.
That is so awful.
I want,
so terrible.
I want to have that experience. Yeah. So, yeah, for our listeners, go and Google the Coleco Telstar Arcade and tell us what you think, because it's atrocious. But I like the idea of triangular-based cartridges, because we're just used to looking at either little square cards or discs nowadays, but someone went, you know what, nah, triangles. What? Yeah. Okay, fair play. So, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that I found quite interesting. Sorry.
No, go for it.
What I found quite interesting is I was watching Tronics Fix, who, for those who don't know, is on YouTube. Just what a guy. Amazing videos, especially if you want something to wind down to go to sleep with. So that's kind of what we watch all the time. I should say to, not with. That got weird. So he's got a load of basically broken N64 cartridges. And you just see how easy it is to repair them with those pins. To just clean them up and make the cartridge work again. Versus a disc, which is, once it's gone, I think it's quite hard to get it back to that playable state.
Yeah. I also love Tronics Fix. I love his stuff, and I love that guy. I think he was ill not long ago, and for him to come back, and he even worked to continue to make videos through his illness. He's a legend. And a lot of the stuff that I've learnt about repairing controllers and repairing consoles have come from him. And all right, a little bit has come also from trial and error, mostly error. I'm not going to lie, I've broken a few things trying to fix them, but that's the thing I'll go to first. If it's not I fix it, it's him. I'll always go to him. Has he done one of these? Oh, great, he has. Just watch him. He's fantastic. So yeah,
completely agree. Before we drop into our last segment of the podcast, I just want to do a little shout out and just tell JB to play Golden Compass on DS, because now it's official. It's on the podcast. Don, could you just agree with this message? If you could just.
Do you want me to do it in the voice of Duke Nukem?
If you could, please. Yeah, that'd be fabulous.
Hey JB, go play Golden Compass, because Iliad says so.
Done. Could you also maybe? Oh, what other voices have we got? Gollum would be fabulous if you've got the time.
Oh. What do you want me to say in Gollum's voice?
JB, play Golden Compass.
Oh no!
Stinky
I'm going red. You put me on the spot now.
We can move on if you wish.
Stupid fat idiots asks me to tell JB to play Golden Compass is precious.
There you go. That's me done.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I want to give you a round of applause. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. All right, moving swiftly on before I go any redder. So this week we're not going to do any news because we've been doing that and it's not very productive. We had a little bit of the news last week, so we thought this week we'd go back into Moby Games. Was it Moby or Toby Games?
It was Moby Games.
It was Moby Games. Moby. I don't know what Toby Games is, but yeah. So
our friend Toby playing games.
Toby. Hey up, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
So yeah, let's see what happened on this day in gaming history. So today, as we're recording, is February the 1st, 2026. I got the year right this time. I'm not like 10, 15 years back.
But, well, I have found my favourite piece Mine was 35 years ago.
I think you're looking at the same one I am, actually.
Okay, you say the first letter, I'll say the second one.
Is it I?
D.
Software?
Ink. Yeah. How do this
There you
list, for those who haven't seen this list is mega. There's so many things on them. Both of us have stopped on exactly the same one.
Yeah, it's so the obviously the legendary company and developer that was ID Software was founded 35 years ago today, February 1st, 1991 in Shreveport, Louisiana?
I'm just going to say yes.
So yeah, still going strong, still making Doom games, still waiting on the new Quake game. Love ID Software. So let's have a look through, see what else we've got. Windows version of SimCity 3000 was released in Canada in 1999, 27 years ago. Oh, that's a long time ago. That bothers me greatly.
I would like to challenge anyone to play this game. Anyone listening, if you play this game, drop us a message, let us know. It looks pretty dreadful, so it means I'll probably love it, because I seem to like terrible games. It is Tiny Toon Adventures, Bab's Big Break.
Oh, wow.
It's kid versions of Warner Brothers' famous cartoon characters. Babs is an aspiring actress, and she sets off one day to perfect her craft and make her way to the theatre. Buster Bunny and his friends Plucky and Hampton notice that Babs is leaving and decide to follow her to the theatre. And apparently, yeah, then you start and you control Buster, Plucky or Hampton as they follow Babs through 4 side-scrolling levels. That sounds terrible.
It's not great, no. But then it's one of those younger kids licensed games that they were never particularly good, although there is one that sticks in my mind, which was Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. I think that was an alright one, but that was years and years back. I've not played that since like the early 2000s. I have found another one. I don't know if it's the original version, I don't think it is, but 15 years ago today, in 2011, Assassin's Creed 2 Ultimate Edition was released. A download release on the PlayStation 3 in the United States. Assassin's Creed 2. It's 15 years old.
How old do you feel?
I don't like the way that... Well, this is it. It's bothering me greatly how old these things are, because they still feel like new games in my head. I showed my partner Assassin's Creed Brotherhood a couple of days ago, because it's set in like a 15th, 16th century Rome. And we're thinking of going to Rome for our honeymoon later this year. And I was just like, oh, you're going to love it. Let me just show you around the streets of Rome in this like virtual reality thing. And it feels very sort of condensed. And there's pop-in and it's everyone. I think, this doesn't look as good as I remember it did. And then you make that realization that the last time you played it was 2014. And I went, oh no, I've not played it in 12 years. And that's what's bothering me. Because 12 years
old.
ago, I was 24. Yeah, I am.
Well, I'm going to go on the... we were talking a bit last week about kind of games reaching various sort of audiences. Do you remember Draw Something? I'm sure we played this together.
I do remember Draw Something, yeah.
Because I remember you were really good at it, and you'd always laugh at mine. Because you do this amazing art piece, and mine would be like a squiggle.
There's no right or wrong in art. That's what I was always told.
Yeah, I mean, well, explain that to why I got a U in one of my exams, and I tried really hard.
I got an F. I wasn't far behind you.
Yeah, I mean, F is still markable, I guess, you know, but it's... looking through what else. There was PopCap games, I saw that. I think, I can't remember what they released, but they released all sorts that I know that a lot of were very, very popular. Oh, well, 5 years ago, there was this day that Stadia Games, an entertainment company, and all its subsidiaries were closed.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise it had been that long. Weren't they the guys that did that? Is it the Google Stadia? Was it the Google's dedicated machine?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow. And now they just get their money through advertisements on Google Play, which drives me absolutely crackers. And every time I try and click the X, it thinks I've clicked on download this game. No, I don't want to play King's escape room 4 with dragons and gems and stuff. Just go away.
Although
And no doubt that's going to get monetized now.
It could be your gargantuous hands again.
It very well could be. My thumb is half the size of my screen.
Yeah, they're always getting you in trouble, those hands, aren't they? Let's see, what else have we...
Excuse you.
What else have we got? Oh, wow. Game & Watch widescreen. Turtle Bridge was released 44 years ago.
The Game & Watch? The original?
Yeah, well, it was a Game & Watch, but it was the game Turtle Bridge. It was the Turtle Bridge version, and it was widescreen.
Fair beans.
That's it.
What's this one? So, sorry to interrupt there. One's just caught my eye. So, in 1996, 30 years ago today. Now, bear in mind, this is very late for not a Nintendo, a Sega Genesis, which was the American version of the Mega Drive. So it's quite late in the Genesis lifespan. Garfield: The Lost Levels in the United States and Canada, released 30 years ago today for it was just the Sega Channel, not even the Genesis. It was the Sega Channel release. The Sega Channel was the essentially online version of the Sega Genesis. They had their own little modem that allowed you to play games online in the very, very early days of online console play. So
Wow.
that's an interesting one. Although Garfield, I don't know.
That is actually very cool. Modem gaming.
It wasn't very popular, but yeah, it's one of the very, very first examples of online play. And it's interesting to look back at. Obviously, servers would be shut down and you have to set up your own thing to get it up and running. And how well it runs, I don't even know. So Garfield might have been a hit. It probably wasn't, because obviously 1996, everyone was probably playing Tekken 2 by then, or Ridge Racer, a little bit of Gran Turismo maybe.
I think we're going to do a wrap up, and yeah, so next week you'll probably be quite a tired version of me, because I will have done a lot of driving, a lot of walking around, but looking forward to bringing that. So thank you, Dorian, for joining us. Thank you for everyone who's listening. If you've got any comments you'd like to make, we do read them all. We do try to reply to them. Of course, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube itself. And I think the podcast also, in its RSS feed, slips into a few other different podcast sort of means there as well. So thank you very much for listening. Have a fantastic week, and we shall see you next week.
Bye.